Bin 6, package. I race down the hall to Japanese class, desperate to beat the second bell. Japanese will be my official fifth language. I love learning new languages and have taken every course the school offers. Who doesn't like languages? They're sounds or drawings that express emotion and information, and they provide a window into a place's culture. At 12, I downloaded one of those phone apps to learn Spanish, and within 3 weeks I was ordering my favorite foods in Spanish. Our server, Liliana, helped me with the enunciation. Liliana was a college student in linguistics and business. I didn't even know that was a thing. Who knows what you do with a linguistics degree, but if my parents can make a job out of traveling all over the globe, there must be a need for someone who knows a dozen languages. As my mastery improved, I dragged Shisho with us to dinner so I could be a jerk by chatting exclusively with Liliana. As Shisho sat frustrated at being left out, Liliana surprised us by speaking Arabic. Shisho gloated as Liliana made us use her as a translator to order. You have to want to drive the point home by only talking to everyone at the table in Arabic. Pulling out my trusty app, I downloaded Arabic. Learning Shisho's native language pulled us even closer, giving us our own private channel that others couldn't understand. Except for Radamas, the cute guy in math. Radamas overheard us in the library and laughed at a joke Shisho and I were sharing. We pushed each other to talk with him since this was before Eric. I'm not sure Radamas ever got comfortable with how much better at math we were. Math isn't that hard, and we only did the extra credit because we finished the required assignments quickly. Knowing a bunch of languages and being good at math doesn't make me a genius, but understanding dogs makes me weird. Jackal is my Doberman, and we watch The Dog Whisperer all the time. Jackal and I started understanding each other a few years ago. I learned Jackal is flirting with a golden retriever in our neighborhood, a process involving a lot of peeing near a tree. We also talk about dogs on TV. It isn't like Jackal speaks words, but I can accurately guess what he's telling me. One time I swear Jackal told me he was poisoned and he was. How does a dog even know he's been poisoned? I grab my usual seat and pull things from my bag. Cynthia slides into her chair as the bell rings. She flashes a dark smile. So Jared dragged you off. When is your first and only date? How about never? I thumb my nose at Cynthia. Jared seemed to have you under his spell last night. Plus Jared is easy on the eyes, so you could just gag him. Why do I get the feeling Cynthia has thought that plan through? This all started when Jared caught me in the warehouse. I think Fran led me to Jared's hiding spot hoping she'd get grabbed. Everyone seems to enjoy my frustration over Jared's attention except Fran. If Fran had some secret plan to be caught by Jared, I wish she'd succeeded. Cynthia hides a laugh behind her hand. I'm surprised Jared didn't tie you up. Maybe Jared would have been nicer to you than the guys from White-Ticker were to me. Ian almost didn't get me untied. Eureka, my opportunity. Speaking of Ian, what's your prom plan? All signs point to yes, and Cynthia is asking him. Do you think Eric is serious about Ian? I don't want to scare Ian off. You're going to wrap Ian around your finger, so why worry about it? I'll tell Eric to pass along your obsession with pandas. Cynthia is a force of nature, so it's best to just hang on for dear life and keep plenty of pandas in reach. That would be great. Cynthia leans toward me, a slow smile stretching across her face. What do you like? I can pass it along to Jared. I snort, drawing the teacher's attention to us at the absolute worst moment. Jared wouldn't put in that much effort. Cynthia stares out the rain-streaked window. You'd be surprised. This isn't the response I expected from someone talking about Jared. Since class isn't holding my attention, my mind wanders. So of course my thoughts lead right back to my biggest frustration. Jared isn't going to give up. At least until I break something. Jared looked pretty good on the Ducati. The Ducati looked pretty good. Sam, you need help. How does Jared even have a bike like that? That edition was built in the 90s. Where does someone find a bike like that in such excellent condition? Antique aside, I really need to get my own bike. A Kawasaki wouldn't cost me too much. Unfortunately, the part-time job only buys enough for some spending money, so I'd need to get a serious gig to earn enough for a bike. If a girl is going to dream, maybe a Virus Alien 988. I could make Jared ride passenger with his arms wrapped tight around my waist. An involuntary blush heats my cheeks at the thought. Jared's advances trigger me for some reason, but the why isn't even clear. Relationships are complicated and frustrating. Shisho and Eric share that easygoing dynamic like mom and dad. Jared screams complicated. Class ends, and my mental roller coaster over bikes and Jared reaches the disembarkation point. Go to your next class, Sam, because you're losing it. Opening my bag, I try to shove my laptop inside. The computer hits a snag, the thick canvas bulging outward. Perplexed by the obstruction, I dig my fingers past the folders and pull out a silver box. The metal casing doesn't feel cold, it radiates a comfortable ambient warmth. I turn the box over in my hands, examining the angles. It's shiny silver, etched with paths routing along the surfaces like geometric crop circles. I don't want to be late to drawing, so I examine the box as I walk. Opening it like a jewelry box, I find something unexpected. Inside sits a jumbo Sharpie, except the label doesn't say that. The markings resemble kanji, not that it's kanji. A static prickle crawls up the base of my skull. Then the label translates in my mind to digital marker. It contains silicate ink for digital architecture. What does that mean? It draws a computer motherboard? Is this a gift? It could be a prank from Shisho. Second period is a few moments away, so I stash the box back in my canvas bag. In art, my thoughts split between charcoal gradients and why there's a silver box in my bag. The silver box wins. Is it something Dad or Mom found? Could it be someone else? Could it be Jared? Get a grip, Sam. A gift from Jared is premeditated. I need to look at this thing again because there's more going on. Fishing around in my bag, the box is gone. Throwing away my focus on drawing class, I dig into the deep pockets like a magician losing his rabbit. After a fruitless search, I look up to find the whole room staring at me. Sorry. I couldn't find a number 3 charcoal pencil. I force a half smile. Next time just ask Miss Cyril. Miss Robbins shakes her head. I'm losing it. Heck, maybe I got a concussion on the roof and I'm not even awake. I could be in a coma on a breathing machine sounding like Darth Vader right now. I pinch my arm and a sharp sting flares. Not in a coma. At my locker, I spin the dial like a roulette wheel. I enter 20, 7, and 50 because they add up to 77, which is my favorite number. Just as I pull the handle, Shisho hovers beside me like an excited hummingbird. So, are you going to go out with Jared? Shisho asks. I'm unlikely to be in a coma. No, why would you think that? We could go to prom together as a double date. I've been dreaming of this, Shisho says, a manic gleam shining in her eyes. Wait, when did we get to prom, and how long have you been plotting my involvement in your prom fantasy? Boom, my life is taking a sharp left turn. Obviously, Eric and I are going, but last year was a letdown because you didn't go. I was hoping if you had a date, you'd be more likely to go versus going alone. Well, I wasn't dating a junior. Why is this even a thing? We aren't stereotypical prom people. Do you know how hard it is to find a dress that isn't off the rack? My parents aren't off the rack, so I might end up in a dingy seamstress shop in Russia or Turkey. Prom is bull, but we get to play dress up. Do you think Mom will let me wear those dresses without an excuse? I have to hide my outfits in 3 layers so Mom doesn't realize what I'm wearing. Diana is great but also a minister. Diana found Shisho while on a missionary mission in Egypt. As liberal Christian as Diana is, the amount of skin showing is still strictly enforced. Shisho can dress in a giant Pikachu costume, as long as it isn't a revealing Pikachu. You want to go to prom so you can look like a tramp? My flat tone rivals Kansas. Don't shame me. Shisho crosses her arms. I want us to get dresses we only wear once and then get hot and sweaty on the dance floor. Shisho has thought this through. Why has Shisho never talked to me about this? This seems like something you discuss with your best friend. What else has Shisho not discussed with me? I try to back out of prom talk by digging through my locker, and then ice floods my veins as my knuckles knock into a silver box on the top shelf. Shisho drops the prom planner persona, her brow furrowing with concern. What's wrong, Sam? Don't get that freaked out over prom. Pulling the object out of my locker, I trace the rectangular box. Opening the lid, I find a screwdriver. Based on the handle, it should be a screwdriver, but at the end 4 straight edge heads arranged like a claw from a carnival machine. Shisho looks at the box, then at me. Do you need me to tell you I see it too? You looking like a ghost would be preferable to whatever that is. Where did the box come from? Yeah, that's more helpful than Shisho realizes. I don't know, but I found a box in my bag earlier. Is Jared giving you a present? Or a secret admirer, perhaps? Shisho's grin drops into a frown. Or a stalker. Who puts a package in a locker? I shove the tool back into my locker and slam the metal door. The box disappeared when I put it back in my bag. My fingers fly through the combination and I whip the door open. The box has disappeared. The space it filled is a void, like air doesn't even fill it. You see this, right? Yeah. What was that? Shisho shoves my books around and searches for the box, pushing and tapping the metal walls of the locker. I don't know. Who needs the stress of being a teenager when you can go full hallucination that even drags your friend into it? How did you know the box would disappear? Shisho asked, tilting her head like a curious cat. I just knew it would. Something about this text seems familiar, and more than just the previous box doing the exact same thing. Maybe I've seen a box like this around my house. There are so many crates and artifacts lying around, so I'm sure I've seen one at the house. Shisho adjusts her bag. We have to get to the library. I'll go save us a good table. Shisho hustles off down the hall. If you don't stake out a good spot, you end up next to the smokers who reek. I brave my locker and don't find another silver box sitting inside. The tight tension bleeds out of my shoulders on a heavy sigh, so maybe this hallucination is over. This insanity is distracting me. What's happening to me? A lot, considering I'm now talking to myself. Turning a corner, the hall monitor nods to me. Hi Sam. You're past the bell. Sorry. I had trouble with my locker, so I'm heading to the library now. Mary is the hall monitor everyone likes. If you make friends, Mary cuts you some slack. Are you still going on vacation next week? Next week will be Hank and Hank has zero slack. Yep. I'm excited to go to Nashville. I hope you have fun in Music City. I push the heavy double doors open and step across the threshold into an entirely unexpected space. Definitely not the library.